Good afternoon. After reading your rough drafts, I would like to make a short video to go over the steps to quoting in case some of you still have questions about that. So there's 4 steps that you need to live by when quoting in your essays. Number 1, you need to introduce the quote. Number 2, you need to give the quote with the correct internal citation. Number 3 is optional, explaining the quote. Number 4 is very important, and that is that you relate the quote back to your main point. So step 1, introduce the quote. Hopefully you can see here in the screen, it's italicized in the example. So when you introduce a quote, there are different ways you can do that. Many students like to give the author's name. You can let the author or let the reader know if you agree with the author here. You may tell the source of the quote. You could give the title of the article or the title of the journal. And you could also give any needed background information. So the introduction in this particular example is Virginia Postrel discusses, okay, and Postrel accurately explains the campaign's fatal flaw. So the first time you mention an author, you need to give the full name in your essay. After that, you can refer to the author with last name only. Step 2 is when you actually give the quote, and you want to make sure that the quotation is accurately given, and make sure you include the proper MLA citation. So in this example here, because I have given reference back to the author right here in my quote introduction, I don't have to add that to the internal citation. The 2 items that normally you include in an internal citation are the author's last name and the page number where the quote is found in the original source. Okay, now there's always exceptions to that, but to start with, that's what you need to learn first, is it's author last name and page number in my citation. Step 2, explain the quote, and that may not be necessary for every quotation. This is if you have a complicated quote that maybe the reader needed to read the entire source in order to fully understand the argument. You would need to offer an explanation. Step 4, this is very important. You need to relate the quote to your argument. Don't assume that your reader will connect the quote to the point you are trying to make. You have to make the connection for your reader. Okay, so if you look here in the underlined portion, the underlined part is a quote explanation. What occurs after that is the relation to the main point. So this particular one is talking about a campaign for real beauty and the definition of real beauty. Okay, so the quote explanation or relation to the argument simply says that it doesn't matter how hard society tries, human discernment reinforces certain ideas when it comes to beauty. Okay, now a couple of other notes that I want to make for you. Let me go back to our home page. So in the article, if you're using the source, let me pull that up. I'd like to just make a note for you. So that particular source, the first one that we reviewed, it does have a lot of citations in it, and you're not responsible for adding those citations. Let me show you what I'm referring to. Okay, So these are your authors, Juliet Womack and Corinne McNamara. So when you pull a quote from this article, you are quoting them, even though many times throughout they are quoting other researchers. So you do not need to include that in your essay. For example, right here, this Lee 2015. If you decided to use this statistic, you can leave that out. Okay, if you want to add that 57% of students multitask in class with their cell phones, you would just give the quote, and what would go in parentheses for your quote in your essay would be the two authors' last names, Womack and McNamara, and then the page number. Okay, so for that particular one, you can see this is page 2. Okay, so that's what would go in your internal citation. A couple other notes. Be sure you include your works cited page. I have given you that in content in this module. If you go to content and you just click right here, works cited essay 2, this is in the correct format. So you can scroll down and hit download. That will bring the document up as a Word file, and then you can simply copy and paste for the one that you need. So whichever one you decided to use as a source. If you happen to use both of them, then you would need to include the works cited page just like this one that I have, because they do go in alphabetical order. Okay, otherwise you would just copy and paste it into your document or your essay as the last page of your essay. Hopefully this will provide some clarification on what I'm looking for your quote format and your works cited page. Please review the feedback that I've given you on your rough drafts, make those revisions, and then send your revised essay over to the Writing Center. And remember, they are now embedded in our class list. So let me show you where that's at. Under Course Tools and Class List, if you scroll down to under, in between, I have mine in alphabetical order by last name. So it's going to be this one right here, Writing Center. You'll just click the box next to them. You can click here to, let's see, I guess scroll up here and hit email. Okay, and then you would have a new message. You just need to put a subject in there, type in the body. Please review my essay for Ms. Smith's English 1010 online class, and be sure you attach a copy of the essay, and you can do that right here. You just upload, go find your document and add it, and then send the email to the Writing Center. Please give them plenty of time to get you the feedback that you need in order to have the best essay possible to submit to me on Sunday night. In reality, you should have that essay to them by Wednesday night, and that'll give them a good, hopefully 48 hours. As soon as you can, though, do get that to the Writing Center, because remember, all 25 of you are submitting to them, and also there could be other classes, so keep that in mind. Good luck with essay 2. Email me if you have any questions. Thank you.